The most fun PvP game I have ever played is For Honor. Every year since February of 2017, that statement has been true. Even while not playing it very actively at all, I've still acknowledged it as my favorite game. Well, it's now 2023, and if I put aside the nostalgia, my favorite PvP game has changed. Naraka Bladepoint released for PC on August 11th, 2021, and came to Xbox Game Pass for the Series S and X on June 23rd, 2022. But I didn't pick up the game on my own Xbox until early August. It's still pretty new when it comes to live service games, and it receives updates every 2 weeks. If you're watching this so you can figure out if you want to buy the game or not, hopefully I can help you out with that decision. This is not a sponsored video or anything like that, so I can assure you I'll be completely honest and tell you all of the things that I like about the game, as well as things that I don't. The year is now 2023, and yep, Naraka is still a pay-to-play game. Battle Royales have typically been free for quite a while now, so any price tag, no matter how small, is a barrier of entry that a lot of people can't get over. I honestly do believe that they will shift to a free-to-play formula someday, but every day that goes by is another day that it still hasn't happened. This has contributed to Naraka's probably biggest issue, and that's its lack of popularity. Not being free drastically decreases the potential audience, which in turn, for a BR game, means that you sit in queue. It's not like the golden age of Fortnite, where there were 100-player matches being filled back to back as fast as the servers could handle. I will say though, the game is not dead. Plenty of BRs are truly dead, meaning that no matter how long you sit in queue, you will literally just never find a match. That is absolutely not the case with Naraka, and during peak hours, you consistently find matches within just a few minutes, if not instantly. I have never been part of a gaming community that doesn't call its own game dead, so take anyone that says that with a grain of salt. For Honor has been dead since release, yet it still gets frequently updated to this day. How weird is that? With Naraka being a relatively young game, it still has a chance to blow up in popularity. One of these chances is with the potential announcement of going free to play, flooding the game with new players that never wanted to spend on it initially. Another chance is with the release on PlayStation, finally tapping into a huge portion of the console audience that has always been excluded. If they played their cards right with a simultaneous release on PlayStation while making the game free, a huge increase in players is inevitable. That's not to say we don't already have a great community. The community on Twitch is one of the best I've ever seen, and it's turned my following page into basically just a Naraka feed. However great it may be though, the more the merrier. Considering the huge amount of potential that the game truly has, in a way that makes now the best time to get into it. When you hear someone is a top 500 ranked player in Overwatch, for example, that's pretty impressive, right? Well, in Naraka right now, with a small bit of effort and dedication, you can make the top 500 with ease. Top 100 is a bit harder to crack, but for anyone picking up the game these days that truly enjoys it and wants to improve, that's not out of reach either. I bring this up because a big problem that people have with Naraka is that it's too hard. Yet if I told you to go and become a top 100 player in Overwatch, that would be a way bigger challenge. The whole point I'm trying to make is that it's not too late to get into the game. Sure, there are some veterans that you will struggle against for a good while, but if you get the game now and start improving, when the day comes that this game does see the player base increase, you'll be the one with the head start. Maybe even grandfathered in as a top 500 or 100 player. Get involved while the game is small, and with some dedication, you will be in that small percentage of top players. You can call that a little optimistic, but for me, I enjoy the game as it is anyways, and the chance of being part of a game with so much potential while it's still young is pretty exciting. This explosion of popularity everyone's hoping for already happened in China, and a few weeks ago, the World Championship came to a close in Beijing with a prize pool of $1.5 million at stake. For some perspective, the biggest Valorant tournament of 2022 had a prize pool of $1 million. That popularity hasn't reached North America, but I certainly want to be there if it does happen, and if I have a ton of fun with the game in the meantime either way, then that's certainly worth it to me. On the actual gameplay side of things though, if you like games with fast-paced combat and a high skill ceiling, you will likely have a lot of fun with this. If you have ever enjoyed For Honor in the past, as well as any BR style games, you will probably like Naraka. I love the fact that there's always something new to learn or improve on. It's the main thing that's going to keep me around for a long time. I will say that you need a decent bit of patience to fully enjoy it, and if anyone does quit, it's usually when they encounter the ever daunting sweat wall. When you've graduated out of bot matches and started making your way through gold, you will start encountering many more players compared to bots, and winning games will get significantly more difficult. For me, this is when I started enjoying Naraka the most, and I was very determined to get better so I could compete with these more experienced players. Going back to that brief mention of bot matches, one of the worst things about Naraka is a derivation of the popularity issue. Because there aren't a ton of players, there aren't a lot of people to populate each of the ranking tiers, so if you're in bronze or silver or even gold, you will be encountering a bunch of bots. Some people don't understand that if you continue to rank up, the bots will gradually almost disappear and they quit the game prematurely. I really wish we could somehow entirely get rid of bots, but my philosophy on it recently is that your low rank bot matches are essentially just your training arc to learn the fundamentals, and the occasional bot at high rank is basically just a walking sort of challenge loot box. In a nutshell, here is where Naraka stands in 2023. It's still not very popular, so some bots are present. It's still pay to play for anywhere from $10 to $20, depending on if it's on sale. Game optimization is still not amazing, but it's gotten much better. Just make sure you have the game installed on SSD. It is a sweaty, difficult game that will challenge you both mechanically and mentally, but because of this, it's the most rewarding and satisfying PvP I've ever played, and it will be for the foreseeable future. So do I recommend it? Absolutely. The movement system in Naraka is second to none, and playing basically any other game after this has me feeling glacially slow. The combat is snappy and gratifying, and a whole lot deeper than the rock paper scissors model makes it out to be. Even outside of gameplay, the cosmetics team outdo themselves with the quality of skins, and I can't say I've seen better designs anywhere else. That's a decent draw all on its own. This is a bit of a side note for me, but Showdown exists, and if you like PvE stuff, Showdown is a whole fleshed out and rewarding experience. If you're interested in trying Naraka, definitely give it a look on Game Pass or Steam. If you end up getting hooked and want to learn a bit more, I'll link some guides down below that I think will help tremendously. That's about all I have to say for now, besides for Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time.
Driving on a sunset, top down, sticking to the old route, uptown.